So hello race fans and welcome to Transatlantic Transmission 3. I'm talking quite quickly for this one because I want to get through everything very, very quickly. It's also going to be unedited because I have a lot of stuff to do this week and I'm preparing for an overseas trip for work this weekend, so everything's happening. But I originally wasn't going to do this, but hey, the race yesterday was so good. Let's talk about it, even if for a short amount of time. And go, let's talk about Pocono.
Green flag.
So yeah, Pocono. Kurt Busch won. The Axalta We Paint winners, something or other 400. A bit of a throwback to other races. I mean, there's been some seriously dumb race names down the years. There was the, what one was it where it was like the something breathalyzer 200, drive slow or get pulled over or something, which is probably the worst name for a race ever because it implies that, you know, you're supposed to drive slow, otherwise you'll get pulled over by the cops for speeding on an oval in a NASCAR race. But this was a really entertaining race. For Pocono, this was really solid. Like, Pocono's quietly been getting back to a sort of level of good quality. And once again, how many more times this season are we going to be saying the aero package is making the racing better? Because guess what? The aero package made the racing better. It just did. This was a fantastic Pocono race. Already delayed from Sunday because literally I'm pretty sure it rained non-stop for about 72 hours from the time they unloaded on the Friday or whenever it was. Through to the Sunday. The only good thing that came out of it is that Kyle Larson's luck suddenly reversed and he actually got a win off the rain delay in the Xfinity race on Saturday. So he was like, wow, man, that's scary. Just as I'm recording this video, it started to absolutely bucket down with rain and I think there's a thunderstorm here. Go away, Pocono weather. I'm not having you rain delay this video as well. My power now goes out. Oh god. Anyway, let's crack on. So, a very entertaining race in the end, very interesting. A lot of attrition. This was a high attrition race, and it kind of seems interesting to me how, at the moment, the cars feel like back in the day, back in the Gen 4 days, where they genuinely were just really low downforce, it kind of felt like they were still balanced. Like, the guys would just still, like, find a way to just get them at the same level. They'd just be slower, but they handle comfortably. It's like this year, it's like they're still trying to go the same speeds as they always did with the Gen 6. But because there's so much less downforce, they're like, whoa, no, suddenly, why am I sliding? Why am I in the wall? Like, it's just all happening. Like, Matt DiBenedetto self-spun twice. Brian Scott spun on his own. Jimmy Johnson spun on his own in this race and wrecked out. That's how attritional this race was. Tony Stewart and Danica Patrick got caught up in a wreck, which I think might have been Austin Dillon's fault. I think Landon Castle was always in it. I mean, it was quite difficult because I was trying to follow it whilst taping the latest episode of Motorsport 101, which will be up on Friday. But I caught the final 50 laps at the very least, just at the moment where Chase Elliott looked like he was might be on to win the thing, and he ended up coming home fourth in the end because Brad Keselowski passed him. What happened basically in the final 20 laps was like a kind of version of the 2016 Indy 500 final 10 laps, except no one ran out. No one ran out of fuel and no one pitted. So it was a little bit different. Like, trust me, there was a few cautions right on the edge of the last fuel window, around like 40 laps to go. And I think Kevin Harvick and Ryan Blaney pitted for fuel and be like, yeah, I'm topped off fuel. I can go charge and go full speed. And then a load of people up front, like Casey Mears stayed out a load of times on old tyres and was like, oh, I'm going to go to the end. Oh, I got no tyres. Still, great gamble, great try. Ty Dillon tried staying out, but like they had two cautions quite quickly, one after the other. And he ended up having to pit for tyres or something anyway. But it came down to Kurt Busch leading, or he took the lead fairly soon after the restart, because Chase Elliott nearly wrecked Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Junior Nation nearly imploded in on itself. Like, that would have been the single greatest heel turn in modern NASCAR history, not since Kyle Busch and Richmond 2008. But let's talk about Chase Elliott. Let's talk about how good he was in this race. This was another great race for him, and he's been really building momentum the past few weeks. And let's introduce some perspective, because I know it's quite funny now to bring in the whole, oh, Kyle Larson, he has no luck and he can't win a race, blah, 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 blah. Kyle Larson is in his third season in the Sprint Cup Championship, and he's younger than me. He's 23. I think he's going to be 24 sometime this year, so he's around the same age as me. Makes me feel good. Like, my biggest achievement of the week is getting a haircut. His biggest achievement of the week is driving a NASCAR Sprint Cup car and winning a NASCAR Xfinity Series race. Yeah. And to make it even more so, Chase Elliott is, I think 21. No, 20. I think he's 20 years old. Because I'm pretty sure he was 18 when he won the Xfinity Series title in 2014. If I'm wrong, clarify down there as much as you want, but I'm fairly sure he is 20, or at the very oldest, 21 years old. The fact we're already talking about Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott, as well as other young guys, already having so many near misses, so many, oh, they should have won a race by now. Oh, it's only a matter of time before they'll win one. Do you not realise how terrifying a prospect that is? These guys are, oh my god. That's incredible. Like, Chase Elliott will have his time, and he was very sensible about it in the end. Like, he didn't try and overdrive the car. He saved enough fuel in the end. Brad Keselowski got by him because he got better fuel mileage. It's fine. Chase got the good result in the end. I think he's in the chase Chase is in the chase. That's going to be a pun that's going to happen if he actually qualifies for the chase. Chase is chasing for the chase for the chase. I've lost my train of thought altogether, but he's already in there on points. He's had such a solid season. He was right up there in the battle for the win at Dover. He and Kyle Larson went to war in the sprint showdown. He had a rough night at the All-Star race, but he's there or thereabouts week after week. And let's not forget, Jeff Gordon. This is Jeff Gordon's team, a very experienced team. And arguably, he's actually performing as good, if not better, than Jeff Gordon did last season. All he needs now is the win to get himself in the chase. So, did Jeff Gordon win a race to get in the chase? I don't think he did. I think he got in on points, and then he won at Martinsville, and that was like, we're going to Homestead, baby, and stuff like that. So, he was in the news, actually. You may think, Jeff Gordon, he doesn't drive anymore. He shouldn't be in the news. No. I'm not entirely sure what happened here, but Brad Keselowski seemed to be throwing the shade at him after the race. It's because Keselowski got a penalty for an unimproved bodywork modification, which is basically one of the crew members, when they were changing the right rear tyre, I think it was, just literally slapped his arse into the side of the car, and it kind of dented the bodywork. Like, if this is the side of the car, it kind of went like that, and it dented it in. But it sort of flared the bottom of the fender in front of the right front wheel. And we all know fender flares are like the worst thing ever. I'd love to see a test on what actual, like, how much side force and downforce those tiny little flares at the bottom of the car add. I'd say it's about 0.05. That's my guess. If that's actually correct, I want all of you to send me cookies. Chocolate chip ones, thank you. But yeah, he got pinged for a penalty, and Jeff Gordon, I think, said something about the same thing happened to him at Las Vegas or something. And then Keselowski was weirdly like throwing the shade at him afterwards, being like biased. I think he was trying to accuse Gordon of like being biased or something, which is weird. Like I say, I think I must have missed the comments altogether on what he said, but if you want to demonstrate below what he actually said, please do, because I'm a bit confused by the whole thing, really. But I have heard some people trying to accuse Gordon of being biased. Like, he's retired from the sport 1 year. He knows everyone in the current field. Very similar over here in rugby union. You get players who have only just retired who are now pundits. Guys like Shane Williams, Martin Williams, guys who have just, like, literally they are commentating on guys who were their teammates the previous year. And then you kind of go, oh, well, they're a bit biased in favour of that team. And you're like, well, they played for that team last year. It's like, as much as you try and be neutral, and I have no doubt Jeff Gordon is trying to be neutral, because he's done a very, very good job transitioning into the booth this year. He's arguably outshining Darrell Waltrip, which is saying a lot. He's done a great job up there, but, like, I'm not being funny. He drove for Hendrick Motorsports since 1992. The end of 1992, he made his debut for Hendrick Motorsports. He only just stopped driving for them last year. He only just finished in NASCAR last year. He knows everyone in that current garage area, from drivers, teams, crews, owners, broadcasters, the lot. He knows all of them. So, like, he's going to have his instinctive favourites, even if he can't help it. So, really, I haven't ragged on him enough for it. I haven't ragged on him much on it, because it hasn't been to the detriment of the broadcast. I've not noticed. Not at one point this year have I gone, oh, Jeff, can you shut up about Hendrick Motorsports now? Or can you shut up about Chase Elliott? Or can you do this? Whatever. I've not had that. So, have you? I really don't see it. I only think it's if he's there to criticise someone that you like, you probably think he's biased. So, whatever. But anyway, Kurt Busch in the end played the fuel game. And as I say, the final 20 laps were a bit of a wash in the end, because everyone was trying to save fuel. Kurt Busch was apparently saving fuel and yet extending his lead. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was trying to chase after him, but save fuel, and then maybe not. Brad Keselowski was like, yeah, I'm good on fuel, but wasn't really fun. Like, it was literally like, we were all just sitting there going, like, everyone watching the race was like, okay, when are people going to start diving to the pits for fuel with like 5 laps to go? And, like, no one did. I think Casey Mears, like, dived to pit road right at the end, and so did Jamie McMurray. But that was it. Everyone else made it. And everyone was like, Kurt Busch is going to run out. Because they kept saying on Kurt Busch's radio, oh, you're going to run out with 2 laps to go. You're 2 laps short. You're 2 laps short. We need to save. You're 2 laps short. You're 2 laps short. Okay, he's 2 laps short. 2 laps to go. Still going. Full speed. I mean, he was putting the clutch in, shutting the engine off through the first turn. So, yeah, they're all saving fuel, but it's fine. 1 lap to go. White flag. It's fine. Comes around. Checkered flag. Fine. Post-race burnouts. fine. This guy clearly, he still probably had enough fuel for the drive home the way he was going. Like, has the entirety of the top teams in NASCAR suddenly taken a leaf out of Scott Dixon's book in how to go faster and yet save fuel? I'm convinced that guy's a magician for doing it. And all I'm going to say is, one of the funniest moments of the race was someone on Twitter actually said, I bet Alexander Rossi's watching this all going, you're amateurs, you can't save fuel as well as I can. And he tagged him in the tweet. And Rossi himself just tweeted back and went, yeah, lol, I'm watching. So Alex Rossi literally was watching, and he was just there like, got that from me. All of them. They learnt all their saving fuel tricks from me. A man who was like doing 12 miles an hour when he crossed the finish line at the Indy 500. So Kurt Busch with the win. He locks himself in the chase with an interim crew chief as well. His full-time regular crew chief was suspended recently. So what a way to get in. Once again, substitutes or having someone go away and then come back. Like, it must be a Busch Brothers thing. You go away from the sport for a bit and then come back and suddenly you're better. Like, I don't understand it. He's a bit like those football teams, or those soccer teams, if you will, for who they get a player red carded and it goes down to 10 men and they're better. And you're like, makes no sense. What are you doing? But a very good win. Dale Earnhardt Jr. with the second, third for Brad Keselowski, fourth for Chase Elliott, and fifth for Joey Logano in the end. I just want to talk briefly about the upcoming Michigan race as well. This is coming up this weekend because this is a race with an experimental aero package, which is something we're getting used to in the last few years. Remember last year we had 4 races with experimental aero. We had the 2 low-downforce races, Kentucky and Darlington. Brilliant. And then we had 2 races with high drag because Brian France was like, I want my cars to race like IndyCar and the slingshot and the stuff. And they were the worst races all year. They would... Can you remember anything from either of them? Can you? Because I think I've forcibly removed such memories from my brain with a spoon. Oh my god, they were just tragic. Like, literally you'd be like, that guy's like 2 seconds behind into the corner. He's coming in and he's died. Wait, what? He's getting dirty air from 2 seconds back? Like, IndyCar didn't even have that many problems with dirty air. Ironically. But this weekend, Michigan will be having a new aero package trialed out. But don't worry, it's not high drag, it's not high downforce, it doesn't have dive planes, anything like that. It is actually an even lower downforce package. And I think the focus here is to remove side force. I don't have the details in front of me. The splitter apparently is being trimmed a little bit more. I think a wicker bill or a shark fin is being added or reshaped in a certain way. And there's new rules governing. I don't know if you noticed in the last few years, when, especially at tracks like Pocono and Indianapolis, when they're going in a straight line, it looks like the cars are crabbing. Like, they're coming in a straight line, but they're sort of crabbing slightly. And I think that's something to do with getting air on the right rear in a sort of side force. You can tell I'm an aerodynamicist. You can tell I know my stuff about it. I don't. It's all just... Yeah. No wonder I like low downforce. I'm like, can we just not talk about downforce at all? It's all mumbo jumbo, wibbly wobbly downforcey stuff. I'm just like, I'd rather not have that. I'd rather just have a car with wheels and a V8 bashing the shit out of 42, or rather 39 this year, other cars with V8s and wheels. So they're trialing some more changes for that, and I think a lot of them are based off the slightly experimental aero package they ran for the All-Star race, which was brilliant. So that's the thing. I believe they're also running this package at Kentucky as well this year. So Michigan and Kentucky, 2 of NASCAR's favourite tracks to trial new aero packages for. So I have a quietly confident feeling that this weekend's race in Michigan will be really, really fun, because this year's NASCAR season has been really, really fun overall. And I think outside of Daytona and Talladega, which didn't run the new aero package altogether because they're plate races, I think every single race this year has been bettered in some way by the new aero package. I can only think of 2 below par races so far this year. Texas, and when did Texas host a good race? Like, Jeff Burton won a race there in 2007 in a pretty fun finish, and even I still think that about Texas Motor Speedway. They're hosting IndyCar this weekend. That'll be fun. And I can't remember what the other below par one. Oh, maybe Charlotte, maybe the Coke 600. That's only because Martin Truex Jr. was just in another time zone in terms of speed, so that's to be expected, really. So, quietly looking forward to a good race at Michigan this weekend. I probably won't be watching it because I'll be in Portugal on a work trip. I'll be back on RC Racing TV duty. Excited as hell for it. You'll probably see the details of how to watch and the live stream and everything on social media come this weekend, and hopefully I'll catch up with it once I get back home next week. Might be a little bit quieter on the channel going forward. I have got a lot of stuff, a lot of work to do. Very busy few months coming up in work and life scenarios. But I'm aiming to try and do these regularly because they're fairly simple to do, especially this one where it's just not edited at all. And I'm hoping to do some more classic race clubs. They'll come up every like 3-4 weeks, maybe every so often when, you know, there's a NASCAR race coming up and there's a historically great race for it. I'll do it. But they are quite time consuming, so I'm not going to try and do them weekly or anything. That's what kind of killed my love for stop motions, really. Like, they are long form things. Anyone who has made stop motion races before will understand. So my voice is slightly better from last week, not much. But I have a great rest of the week, everyone. And I hope you enjoy this weekend's racing at Michigan. I will try and catch what I can. If I don't, I will see you on the other side next week and hopefully have caught up with it by then. See you next time, race fans.